Welcome to Cultivating Courage, a podcast exploring fear, courage, and stepping into a life filled with purpose, connection, and love.
Welcome to another episode of the Cultivating Courage podcast. I am your host, Matt Maxwell, and as always, joined by my co-host, Kristin Robinson.
I like to call myself the other host, not the co-host.
Oh, well, how do you introduce me?
The other host.
The other host. Oh, yeah, that's better.
Because we're both hosts.
Yeah, we are each a host.
Yeah.
Here we are hosting the Cultivating Courage podcast.
Together.
Yes, and you are a listener.
Now that we're clear on our roles.
And there may be just one of you, so it's like the three of us, or maybe you're listening
There's
at a big
more than
party. No, I mean like in this moment.
Oh.
They're like sitting in their car or they're on their headphones. But maybe they actually have like a weekly
listen party, like a book club.
Yeah, it's like Game of Thrones, but it's like a new episode of Cultivating Courage came out this week.
Yeah.
And so we have a big party.
Do you think people dress up as us?
Yeah, they definitely do dress up. It's really easy if they're doing me because they're just like jeans and some, Banana Republic shirt, basically. It's a little bit trickier with you. They've got to have more variety.
Well, just earrings.
Oh, that's true.
I'm pretty standard. Jeans and a t-shirt or a tank top. And
yeah. The hair thing is getting more tricky. People are actually a little bit more confused.
Well, they can be like, I'm curly-haired Kristin. Oh, I'm good. Straight-haired Kristin.
Yeah, but then sometimes they're like, but are you Matt from the most recent episodes?
Right, because your hair is getting so close to the same length.
Check out our YouTube. You can watch the videos, which I actually don't really want you to do that much because I like my voice more than my look.
That's awesome.
But if you were to watch the YouTube, you would see that my hair is almost as long as yours.
If you watch episode 1 and then watch episode 32,
you'd see quite the difference.
You can see the whole progression.
Can I tell you a sad story before we get to our podcast? You guys might like this who are listening. This is sad.
You always ask, and then I always say no, and then you always tell the story anyway.
Let me tell it anyway. No, this is good. This is funny.
Sad and funny.
I'm an actor, among other things. Oh my gosh. We've got to do a catching up episode because there's some cool stuff I want to share, but that's not this episode. So I was in a play several years ago where we did a radio, live radio version of It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, that's cool.
It's super fun because it's still with an audience, but you do all the voices differently, and you have like a Foley artist that's doing all the sound effects.
Yeah.
And it's like a 1940s radio show.
Yeah.
Play.
So people are watching.
They're watching just like a normal thing, but they're watching us in the 1940s record this audio version of It's a Wonderful Life.
That's
so
fun.
Each character gets to do like 5 or 6 different characters.
Yeah.
And it's super fun. Anyways, I told this guy at Jamba Juice. I went to this Jamba Juice almost every day. It was like my dinner on the way to rehearsal. And so it was just some like punk teenager that I got to know because I went to Jamba Juice all the time during this phase of my life. I thought it was really healthy.
Turns out.
I don't know. Maybe
Lots
it was.
of sugar.
Lots of sugar, but it had whey protein mix.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I was very buff
case.
during those days. Anyway, I told this guy that I was doing this live radio play, and he was like, "Oh, that's good. You have a face for radio."
Oh.
This punk teenager at Jamba Juice.
What a punk.
I was like, "You asshole."
You're like, I am never coming back to this Jamba Juice ever again.
Yeah, forget you.
Yeah.
No, I don't feel that bad about it, but it did make me laugh.
That's really funny.
And it's so apropos for the podcast because if you just listen to us, you have no idea what my face is like. And we do have nice voices for radio.
That's what I've been told. Yeah.
All right. We're going to have super fun this episode because way back when we very first started, going back to episode 1, our first couple of episodes were about getting to know Matt and getting to know Kristin, who happen to be hosts.
Correct.
Not just co-hosts.
Yes.
The hosts of the Cultivating Courage podcast. And now some time has passed, and also you've heard us a lot more if you listen to a lot of our episodes. And so we thought it might be fun to do another little getting to know you.
Yeah.
And discover more and hear more and share more.
Yeah. So
this episode, I imagine we will call Getting to Know Kristin Part 2. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Good.
I feel more ready probably than I did the first time.
Yeah, because we've done this a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Those first couple of episodes, by the way, you can go listen if you want, but I think we were kind of stiff and awkward.
I don't know.
Maybe it was the same as now.
Quite possibly.
In my brain. Okay, well, I've got some curiosities, but I know Kristin maybe even better than some of you, unless you're
well,
your
if you're a friend of Matt's and listening, then
Yes.
you probably don't really know me at all.
My mother probably doesn't know you very well, but your mother might know you better.
I would agree that is probably accurate.
I got to be honest. We joke about our moms being the only listeners, and I'm not sure if my mom listens. But she should be.
She definitely should be.
Okay, I'll tell her. So, because I know so much, I'm going to rely, at least in part, for this Getting to Know You episode, on the book 3,000 Questions About Me by, it doesn't say.
I don't know. Probably by a lot of people.
Not.
It'd be hard for one person to come up with 3,000 questions.
That's true. Published by
I think.
Piccadilly. That's all I know. Okay. Do you prefer to wash up in the mornings or evenings?
Mornings. I shower every morning. I don't wash my hair every morning, but I shower every morning.
Should I stop washing my hair every morning?
Yeah.
I'm not used to having long hair like this.
Yeah, you don't need to wash it every day.
Oh.
Unless you have greasy hair, then you may want to wash it.
I wondered that because sometimes on the second day it looks really good.
Yeah. No, I wash my hair like every 3 days. But that's partially, I mean, you have kind of some wave in your hair too.
Mm-hmm.
And like they say for people with curly hair or wavy hair, you should not wash your hair every day.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What should wedding vows be about?
I think wedding vows should be about like the friendship that you have with each other, the love that you have for each other, and like the vision or future that you see together.
Wrong. All right. Failed that one. Boy, she's 0 for 2.
I guess that's why I'm not married.
That's a super fun question, and I'm not going to talk about this because this is not my episode. But I just officiated my best friend's wedding.
I know.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
It was very special. And maybe I'll just put this out there. I was pretty good at it. So if anybody out there is looking for a really great wedding officiant, I might add that to my list of
You should
titles.
add that to the resume.
Do you tend to follow your heart or your head?
Ooh, that's tough. But I think I would say probably my head. But I'd like to believe that I follow my heart more. But I think in reality, I follow my head more.
Yeah.
What do you see as my friend?
Well, just in the way you answered me right now, I'm pretty sure that was your head.
Yes.
What would your heart say about the next question? Who is your biggest supporter?
Oh, I have a lot, I think. Like I've really...
That was your head. You have to answer with your heart, remember?
I only get one answer.
What does your heart say?
My family.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, if I have to say one, then I'm going to say my family.
If you were answering with your gut, what would you say?
That I have really, well, I mean, it's to say I have really great family and friends. So
Yeah.
I have a lot of biggest supporters.
Yeah.
Like people in my life I now have come to see just really want me to be like happy and fulfilled.
Yeah.
And they don't care if that is different than what I think that they want me to be doing. Like if that makes sense. So like it took me a long time to realize I can just do what I want and I don't have to like live into a life that I think that everyone else wants for me.
Yeah.
Like what they really want is for me to be happy.
Yeah.
And
be fulfilled.
right.
Have a great life.
Yes.
Yeah, that's such a great...
How I create that, they don't care about that.
Well,
Yeah.
they might. I mean,
Right. I thought that they did.
Yeah.
I created meaning and story around what I should do and how I should create my life to ensure that everyone around me, like that these expectations that they have, I'm using air quotes for those of you listening, like are met in reality, sure, maybe they had some expectations or some thoughts around what I might do with my life. But a lot of those expectations are self-imposed that I've created for them. And they're like, no, we don't care what you do. We care that you're happy. Yeah.
As you share that, my experience with family and advice, which fortunately they're not too strong. Most of them are just like, what are you doing? Wow, that's amazing. I love you, you know. But sometimes I get advice. Well, have you considered?
Sure.
And my immediate reaction to have you considered is yes, I have, or no, I'm fine, or something that's like, you're not the boss of me.
Yes, I also have that.
And hearing you say that, I'm like, it would probably be generous of me to look first at the intention.
Yeah.
Like whatever advice they're sharing actually is probably coming from a place of kindness and generosity. And so it's like, I might hear that, the intention, and be grateful for it, even if I'm like, you know what you can do with that advice? Take it and give it to yourself. I don't know. Oh man, there are so many good questions in this book. Y'all check it out. And by the way, I'm just like randomly flipping to pages. I haven't pre-planned these questions. How many people have you dated?
Oh, well, what's our definition of dating? Like,
let's do a few. How many estimate, obviously, unless you want to check your calendar real quick, for your whole life. How many people have you been on a date with, do you think?
Oh, I'm going to say 50. Maybe less than 50. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah. You like to date and you do it often. I am kind of like, I like my friends. I'd rather hang out with my friends than go on a date. So make it,
cool.
Yeah.
And then the next question would be like, how many people would you say like we've dated? We dated.
I would say 8 to 10. If I'm just like off the top of my head, not really counting everyone.
For the sake of our listeners, are you open to dating someone right now?
For the sake of our listeners, I would say that I am pseudo dating someone right now.
Yeah.
So I'm not necessarily open to dating other people.
So someone listening right now that's like, I'm pretty sure Kristin's my dream woman. It's like, now's not the time.
Now is probably not the time.
It may not ever be the time.
It might not ever be the time.
There are plenty of fish in the sea. Okay, buddy. Don't give up. There's lots of other no one's quite as cool as Kristin, but don't give up. Okay. There are other okay people out there. And
I have a lot of great friends.
Yeah, that's true. She has some good friends.
Yeah. Slide into my DMs anyway. I'll hook you up with one of them.
Okay. Yeah. Send her a message for matchmaking, which is going to be her second job after coaching. What would the logo for your life look like?
Oh, that's interesting. I feel like it would be like a heart with fireworks coming out of it. Yeah. With like a roller coaster around it.
Wearing earrings, big earrings.
No earrings.
Oh. I love that idea though. A heart with a roller coaster around it.
With fireworks.
Yep. When you're feeling sick, what makes you feel better?
Laying in my bed.
That's it. You just lay in your bed and feel better.
Well, what kind of sick am I? Am I emotionally sick or am I physically sick?
Yes.
Matt. Well, if I'm physically sick, yeah, I just want to like lay in my bed and be cozy, or like lay on my couch and like watch a movie or whatever. If I'm emotionally sick, like I'm sad, then what makes me feel better is like being kind to myself. Yeah. And then bucking up and going out with my friends and like getting out of my head. Yeah. And just like being with my people.
Yeah. Margaritas.
And margaritas.
Who is the smartest person you know in this room? And
I don't feel like that's the question, Matt.
Okay, you caught me. What it really says is, who is the smartest person you know, and what do you ask them for help with?
That's interesting. I would say the smartest person I know is probably my older brother. Like one of the first things I say about him when I tell people about him is like he's crazy smart.
Wait, are you actually including everyone you know?
Yeah, Matt, I am.
Okay,
Matt,
just checking.
I am.
Okay, sorry. You were saying your brother?
Yeah, my older brother is. I find him to be crazy smart. That could be like a story I'm telling myself that he's like intimidatingly smart. But I ask him for help about just like life. I don't really ask him specific things about, you know what I mean? If that makes sense.
If I were your brother, what would you ask me?
Right now?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Yes, I would sell all of your stocks right now. I'm worried about the market.
Okay.
Was that a good guess?
I'd actually ask that question to my little brother.
Oh, he's the finance guy?
He's the finance guy.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, man.
I did actually just ask him, like, I was like, hey, I have some extra money in my savings account. I feel like I should do something other than just leave it in my savings account. What should I do with it? That's what I asked my little brother that.
Gotcha.
And then I asked my older brother, like, hey, I've got some shit going down at work. Like, what should I do? So, yeah.
Are you ready for a great question?
I'm so ready, Matt, because all of these have been crap.
You're doing really well so far, by the way. Our judges, what do the judges say? Yeah, so far you're getting on average a 7 out of 10 on your responses.
Well,
that's pretty good. That's not bad.
I mean, it's a 70%. I don't feel great about that.
Well, that's just a context. A lot of people get lower scores.
Well, that's sad for them. They obviously weren't raised in an environment where like a 95% or higher is really what is expected.
I like this question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
What is the hardest thing about being you? Wait, can we just pause for a second? Because I like this question so much. It's so filled with weird context. But I want everybody to actually answer this. Listeners, are you listening?
Yes.
James? Yes. What is the hardest thing about being you?
James, do you have your answer?
Listeners, do
you have your answer? Matt, do you have your answer?
No, I don't want to look there. It's scary. I'll think about it. What's yours?
The hardest part about being me? I think the hardest part about being me is how hard I am on myself. Probably. Like, and getting stuck in that, like, beat down mode sometimes.
Yeah.
When it's not where I want to be. And it's like I'm aware of it and I know when it's happening, but sometimes I still can't stop it. And I just like beat myself up.
What is the thing that you're most hard on yourself about?
Everything. Like, I mean, I'm serious. James is laughing, but I'm serious. Like, I mean, my apartment is always messy. Like, always. And I beat myself up about that. But I also love that it's so messy because it's like the one place that I allow myself to be messy. Like, everywhere else, I'm very like put together and like the way I need to be. So
we've got this mental conditioning that's like, your apartment's really gross looking. Yeah. It should be different.
Yeah, it's not dirty. It's just messy, but yeah.
It's messy, right? Yeah. It's messy. It's just got stuff everywhere.
It does.
And by the way, I'm exaggerating. It really doesn't. We're sitting in it.
Right. Well, that's because I picked up for you guys.
Oh. This is picked up? Oh, my God. Wow.
Yeah, you should have seen it before you came over.
So it's like you've got a voice that beats you up over that.
Yeah.
You've got a part of you that listens to that and feels crappy.
Yep.
And you've got another voice that's like, this is your home. You get to do what you want. You go ahead and make it messy.
Yeah.
Perfect cycle for suffering.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man,
I mean, and it's brains. Like exercise. Like, why aren't you going to the gym? You pay for the gym. Like,
And at
You're
the same
so
time, there's
lazy.
also a voice that's like, you deserve a break today.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to go.
Yeah.
Right, and then it beats you up over it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing I want to point out as an idea for our listeners, because everybody's got stuff like this where we're getting beat up. Our brain thinks we should be a certain way, or we should have done things a certain way, and we didn't do them, and therefore, and the thing that gets nasty about that is that we think it's me doing it.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I beat myself up, which I say all the time, even though there is a way in which I could see that's not actually true.
Right.
It's thoughts that I think are me being vicious and me believing them.
Yep.
And it's easier to believe them when I think they're me because I'm right about things usually.
Right. Because I know myself.
And so I am beating myself up. And because I'm usually right about things, I'm believing how awful I am. And that is what causes the human race to suffer so much.
Mm-hmm.
So let's all give ourselves a break. It's not us. It's our brains. We were conditioned to think like that.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with us. And your home is great.
Thank you.
The hardest thing about being me is how good looking I am. People
and
just,
it's come full circle.
People just, they're just.
Forget that Jamba Juice
they
guy.
They won't leave me alone.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
I was grateful to hear that. Because usually it's the opposite.
Yeah.
People won't leave me alone
tired
of hearing how good looking I am.
Yes.
Stop. It's the hardest thing about being me.
Stop coming up to me and asking for my autograph.
People are always like, Brad Pitt, can I take a picture with you? And I'm like, I'm not Brad Pitt. You know? But they think I am. They think I'm Bradley Cooper. They think I'm Ryan Gosling.
It's tough, man.
It's really tough to be this good looking.
Yeah.
I'm like the combo of all of those guys.
It's true.
And George Clooney.
And George Clooney,
and
yes.
Who else is ridiculously good looking?
Well,
Antonio Banderas. People get us confused all the time.
Well, that's an
Denzel
interesting
Washington. One. All the best looking guys. It's tough. Okay, ready?
Sure.
What is the craziest thing you've ever asked Siri?
I don't have Siri. So, nothing. I don't believe in Apple products. I hate them.
Hey, Siri.
Do you remember that one time you were talking and Siri on your Apple Watch came on?
I don't have an answer for that. Is there something else I can help with?
No.
She doesn't remember.
Because I don't like Apple products, Siri.
Apple.com can tell you all about Apple products.
About how bad Apple products are?
Can you pick this up with Siri? I'm going to ask Siri the next question about you. Are you ready? Hey, Siri. What is Kristin's favorite thing to celebrate? She's not saying it out loud, but she responded, I'm not sure I understand. Yeah, she's just dumb. All right.
Poor Siri.
Let's ask something else.
James is like, I don't know what to do with this episode.
No, we're going to just kind of keep this one for when we have nothing better. No, actually, I think the last episode is for when...
No, I liked the last
you did? Okay,
episode.
yeah, it was good. Okay, thanks. Oh, this is good. Where do you see yourself in 10 years' time?
In 10 years' time, wow. I see myself with a following that allows me to like speak to hundreds of people at a time about who they are and the confidence it requires to be that person every day in all areas of your life. And having created some sort of program to support young people in that process as young people instead of creating it as an unhappy adult.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love that. Where will you be?
Everywhere.
Just traveling around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really see myself as like a nomad. I really just want to be able to go where I want to go when I want to go there.
Here's the challenge I think there will be with that.
Mm-hmm.
Where will you get messy? Your hotel rooms?
Yeah.
Yeah. Will your brain still beat you up over your messy hotel rooms?
Probably not as much because it's not like my home.
Yeah. Fooled your brain. Okay, that was good. Ooh, I love that. Hundreds of people, rooms with hundreds of people, talking to with them about who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Making a huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
If given your own show in Las Vegas, what would you do? Maybe it's the same answer. Let's go to something else.
No, I mean, it's Vegas, baby.
Oh, what would you do in Vegas?
I feel like I'd be like some weird mix of like Pink, J-Lo, and Lady Gaga. Like just an epic show.
Really?
Yeah. Don't you think that'd be like epic? They're all such amazing entertainers.
Yes.
Yeah. Like flying on a trapeze.
This isn't like in a dream world.
Doing like
this is you, okay, Kristin?
Yes.
What would you do?
That's my 5-year plan.
Oh,
you know, the
5
last
years.
question was 10.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could totally do that.
Mm-hmm.
I think you better get some of your supporters to support you through that process.
Yeah.
Do you think the zombie apocalypse could be real, or is it total make-believe?
Well, that's an interesting question. I think that the zombie apocalypse, as it is depicted on TV, is totally made up, imaginary.
Yep.
But I think you could argue that the zombie apocalypse is occurring right now in the way that humans live their lives.
How is that?
Well, just everybody like goes through the motions. Nobody connects with each other. And you kind of are just going along like zombies. Except we're not eating each other's brains. Or are we?
Well,
dun, dun, dun.
This vegetarian thinks we're eating some things that maybe aren't great. Yeah, it's like we were conditioned to be a bunch of ways. Shoulds just pushed into our brains. And a lot of us are just constantly, every day, trying to do everything possible to just be that should. And that's what our lives are about.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're not that, we feel bad. It actually kind of reminds me of Dave Matthews' song, The Great Poet. Have you heard of Dave Matthews, The Great Poet? He's a poet.
Does he also have a band?
He has a band too, but he's mostly known for his poetry.
Also known as lyrics.
Yes, lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, only the most sophisticated art people, the non-zombies, are the ones who really get Dave Matthews. It's just
like
it's an
James
acquired
has something
taste.
to say about that.
It's an acquired taste. But he does have a great song called Ants Marching.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically about that.
Well, I look down often. So as you know, I grew up on a farm, cattle farm, and I often look down from my office onto the streets of Chicago, like morning commute, evening commute, and see all these people walking down the sidewalk. And I think like we're all just a herd of cattle.
Yeah. How many of those people are just completely lost in their thoughts, worrying about whatever, not actually being present to what's happening in this moment?
Mm-hmm.
All right. We have a final question.
Is this like Jeopardy?
Yes. If you get this right, judges. Oh yeah. No, there's no way you can actually pass. Your score's too low. But you know, we have to do this. It's a formality.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually hilarious.
I'd like to wager everything.
She's wagering it all. Oh, okay. Well, if you get this right, you may just beat the next contestant. This is hilarious to me, the lawyer who gets caught up in formalities, because this book says 3,000 questions about me, and this is not a question. It's a statement.
Oh.
But I think there's a way in which it could become a question.
Great.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Here's question 830.
Statement 830, apparently, if we're being technical.
Are you ready?
Lawyer.
Your secret obsession.
My secret obsession book. Well, it's maybe not. Maybe that's not secret. I mean, I have like a gajillion books. So
Reading?
No, books.
Oh. Yeah,
I mean,
Kristen's
reading
just shown me
also.
like 4 books that she has.
Reading also, but I would say more broadly books. But I don't know if that's secret, but it's definitely an obsession.
Cool. Books. Listeners, your practice, should you choose to accept it, is to what?
I think, well, we maybe should have done the practice at the beginning and told them to think about these questions on
themselves. Their own. Go back, listen to this episode again, pause right when Kristin's about to answer and answer them for yourself. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah. Or maybe some of the more...
I got one.
Okay, great.
Okay, here's what I want is just to consider, we're having fun with this. Hopefully you've had fun with this, both because you're getting to know a voice you've heard in other episodes, and also because if you just consider the range of questions we just asked and take a step back. There are 3,000 questions here. You
Yes.
probably could have answered any of them.
Yes.
There's might a few that probably would have stumped you, but most of them you could probably answer. But if you consider what a miracle it is that a human, this one little thing, could have such a broad array of interests and opinions and views and thoughts, and the miracle of all that is you. And consider that each of us is that miracle.
Yeah.
Filled with interesting views and thoughts and experiences. And maybe it's just a chance for us all to savor how unique and precious this is.
Yeah. I don't think we probably do that enough for ourselves or other people too.
Yeah.
Yeah. The people in our lives.
That's it for this episode.
Yeah, it is.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes. We'll see you next week. And obviously, I won.
Judges, what do you have to say? Hey guys, thanks for listening. I'm Matt Maxwell. You can connect with me on LinkedIn or other social media, or learn about coaching with me at thisishearthstone.com. And please check out my book, How to Hold a Cockroach, now available through Amazon. You can connect with Kristin on Instagram at Robinson Kristin, that's Kristin, or find her upcoming workshops at thrivecoachingstudio.com. Please subscribe to us wherever you listen and leave a great review. We'd love to hear how it goes in the comments section wherever you listen, or leave us a note at cultivatingcouragepodcast.com.